Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the first hotspot of 2015 with me, John Pennington, in a rather cold and wintry UK. And with me is Chetan Narula in what I hope is a much warmer and pleasant for you Australia. Happy New Year, Chetan.
A very happy new year to you, John, and happy new year to our viewers as well, and welcome to the first hotspot of the new year of 2015. And it's going to be an exciting year with a lot of cricket and a lot of discussions coming our viewers' way. Yes, it's a pleasant city, much more pleasant than England, I would say. But Melbourne is a city where you see 4 seasons in a day. So when I went out today to the MCG to see the Indian team practice ahead of their first game of the Tri-Series, I put a lot of sunblock because it was bright and sunny as I could see out of my window. By the time I reached the MCG, it was cloudy, it was windy, and I had a jacket on. So, Melbourne, city of 4 seasons in one day. It didn't rain, but hopefully it can keep away for Sunday as well as India take on Australia. So pleasant, more pleasant than England, sure.
Okay, well, we'll hopefully chat about the Tri-Series a bit later on. We want to sort of wrap up our chat on the Australia-India Test Series, the fourth and final test in Sydney. My sort of snap analysis from many thousands of miles away, a bit of a flat track. Virat Kohli, Steve Smith and Rahul really sort of cashed in. But give us your more refined perspective on the game, Chetan, actually there.
Well, yes, it was a flat track, perhaps the flattest track of the Test series so far in Sydney. A lot of runs were scored. First of all, David Warner getting that 100, 200 in partnership with Chris Rogers, then Steve Smith coming on and getting that 100 again, four consecutive 100 for him. Obviously, it's just been in such a golden touch. India didn't bowl really well. I mean, on pitches like this, you need some discipline. You need to hold your lines. You need to not give easy runs away, and that's been the hallmark of the Indian bowling attack. Not just throughout the series, throughout the overseas Test calendar year, they've been giving away easy runs where they need discipline, where they need to cut off the runs, and it's becoming a very, very big worry because if you cannot have pressure on from both ends and runs keep flowing, there's no pressure on the batsman. You cannot get wickets because they know that the loose balls are eventually going to come, and which is what's been happening against the Indian attack. So, the Indian bowlers then come out and say that, they scored 550 runs, we scored 500 runs, but there's a difference. They score 550 for 7 wickets declared. India scored 500 runs all out. So there's a difference. I mean, because you look at the way Australia bowled, a lot of discipline. The Indian batsmen had to work really hard, and that's why it's impressive because the Indian batsmen, they've worked hard to score their runs. That's the bottom line. Is that a lot of music, John?
Carry on.
Okay, so the Indian batsmen have really had to work hard with their runs to score their runs, and the Australian bowlers have not given anything away, whether it be Adelaide with another flat pitch, and you had Latham. It spun a lot more, but it was a lot more flat pitch. Melbourne was the typical Melbourne pitch, but Sydney was flatter than the Ashes series last year. So it was a lesson perhaps for the Indian bowlers to see how Australia bowled. Ryan Harris pitching the ball on the same spot again and again. Josh Hazlewood using his height again to keep those. He bowled 8 overs for 3 runs in the second innings. I mean, that's brilliant discipline. Then you have Nathan Lyon. He sees the rough and he lands the ball just in the rough. Keeps on doing that. All of the Australian bowlers did the same thing, bowl with discipline. It was, like I said, a lesson for the Indian bowlers. Obviously, with India getting bowled out and then Australia, again, you could see the difference in one session of Test cricket. Australia scored 200 plus runs, 213 runs, if I remember correctly. So that just shows the difference between the two sides in this series, that India have not been able to pick up 20 wickets. And that is why they lost the Test series 2-0. I don't think they were in the chase. They were never going to chase it because the pitch hadn't broken up that easily, but it was a tall order. They had given away too many runs after the overnight declaration. It depended on the start. And then again, Australia bowled so well. They never gave those easy runs that they got against Australia, in Adelaide. Those runs never came in, and Virat Kohli, who did get 100 in the first innings, and he said the same thing, that those runs never came, we never got enough momentum to score. KL Rahul, yes, a good, won't say debut, but after the nerves he showed in Melbourne, it was a good second outing for the youngster. Not many 22-year-olds have a Test 100 in Australia, especially not Indian 22-year-olds. So kudos to him, he's done well. But having said that, one of the easiest pitches he'll ever get in overseas Test cricket, perhaps. Uh, Having said that, again, what's the worrying part is that he's played 3 pull strokes in 3 innings and gotten out in his first innings. That's the worrying bit. He'll learn with experience. He'll learn with time. He said in his press conference that he likes to play the pull shot, but a lot more pace and bounce in Australia than back at home. So perhaps we'll take it in his stride, learn from this experience. Good option for India going ahead, but we have a lot of home tests to look forward to, and Shikhar Dhawan might be back as the first choice opener. But again, like I said, 22 years old, a lot of cricket left in him. Good option for India, good discovery.
Taking the series as a whole, Chet, you picked up on quite a few themes there already. Sort of Indian bowling giving away too many easy runs, batsmen having to really work at their runs, and KL Rahul being a very good prospect. Any other sort of themes or maybe positives? It almost feels like Dhoni stepped down, so Kohli's taking over. Could this be the start of a new era maybe for Indian cricket? What sort of themes can you take out of the tour as a whole? 2-0 obviously a lot better than 4-0 last time round.
Well, I don't think we can compare from last time around, because obviously India played with a lot more intent, a lot more aggression, new team altogether, young batsmen who did well, bowlers perhaps did even worse, if it can be said, and yet the scoreline was only 2-0. I'm not going to say if it was a positive, but it's certainly going to be a change seeing Virat Kohli captain, because he's somebody who doesn't throw in the towel. I mean, even when his bowlers were being hit for 200 runs in one session, he kept changing things around. He kept doing things. I don't know if it was because Dhoni had been captain for so long that we stopped noticing those changes that he made, or his changes simply didn't work. But Dhoni had the tendency of letting the game flow and waiting for things to happen, And he's led India for a long time. I was just checking a statistic. India lost 6 consecutive overseas Test series under MS Dhoni, including this one. The last time that happened was when India started playing cricket in 1932 to their first tour to West Indies in 1955. So you're talking about a nascent stage. I'm not going to say he took India backwards, because he's had some tough times. The golden generation was aging under him. 8-0 when 8-0 happened. Then you had the young ones and the transition, and the young ones needed their time to become the players they are. And most of all, he's had a very, very poor bowling attack. You cannot take 20 wickets with such bowling attack. You cannot win overseas Test matches. Yet, India came close in Johannesburg. India came close in Auckland, Wellington. They won at Lords. They could have won in Adelaide. They could have perhaps forced the issue in Brisbane had they batted well in the second innings at Brisbane. Melbourne, again, they were in with a chance until, they could not take 10 wickets in the second innings. They could not bowl out Australia in the second innings. So, and, give their batsmen time to chase down the total. So, they have competed, like it's been said time and again, they have competed in the series. It bodes well that India now have the batsmen to score runs overseas. Murali Vijay, revelation. Ajinkya Rahane, brilliant batsman. He scored runs in South Africa, New Zealand, England, Australia. Not even Virat Kohli has done that. Not even Cheteshwar Pujara has done that. Not even Murali Vijay has done that. So obviously, a brilliant player for India throughout this year. If we can get, a stable partner for Murali Vijay, somebody like KL Rahul, or if Shikhar Dhawan can, overcome his overseas fallibility, or if Rohit Sharma can get a kick on, because now India will need to play a 6th batsman because Dhoni is gone. He can I'm not sure if Saha can bat at 6, take that responsibility as yet, or until we find another wicketkeeper batsman, somebody like a Sanju Samson. I don't know if he's ready to. He's too young, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, maybe he's ready to step into that mold. So for some time, we'll have to play with 7 batsmen. So quite a few positives for India from this whole year, but there's also a lot of negatives, if I can say so, from this overseas test schedule that's come to an end. It'll be interesting to see how they proceed from here. The batting's all sorted. We have a new captain who will want to be aggressive, but can he get those bowlers who will allow him to be aggressive? Captain cannot win matches if your bowlers cannot take 20 wickets, and I think more than anything that was the problem with MS Dhoni's test captaincy.
Yeah, plenty of questions, and we'll obviously see how those sort of play out over the coming months and years, Chetan. Moving now then on to the one-day international series, the tri-series underway, of course, England losing to Australia yesterday. Just give us your view on the squad that India have picked, because, of course, they picked the squad both for the tri-series and minus a couple of extra players that are drafted in. It's the same one for the World Cup, isn't it? So just give us your thoughts on their squad.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, except Dhaval Kulkarni and Mohit Sharma, it's the same squad that will play the World Cup. Both of them are backup for somebody like Ishant Sharma or maybe Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who are carrying niggles. So if they don't recover in time for the World Cup, they will probably replace these two bowlers. So it's a good move. I think it's a very balanced squad. I think there's a lot of surprise that Stuart Binney's been picked in this World Cup squad, but I'm not surprised. He toured New Zealand. He only played one ODI, but he toured New Zealand. And then he toured New Zealand, keeping in mind that he will be playing the World Cup there. He knows the conditions there. Even if he's just played one odd match, couldn't do much on that. Then he went to Bangladesh, where he got in those seeming conditions, he got those wickets. And more importantly, when Sri Lanka were playing the home series in India, he opened the bowling in the last couple of matches and Virat Kohli. So it shows that the team management have had their eye on him for some time. And today in the press conference, I asked MS Dhoni how happy he is with the balance, and especially with Binney, he said that India has picked the best available seeming all-rounder, and you need such player, perhaps in New Zealand, perhaps in Perth. New Zealand, there's not much spin there after the first 20-25 overs. So instead of two spinners, they might play the seeming all-rounder, but instead of three leading pacers, they might play two pacers spinners and one seeming all-rounder, getting that extra batsman in Stuart Binney as well. He can play some attacking shots. So I think that's a good move. That's a good pick. How they will use him is a totally different matter altogether. Whether Dhoni will not use him as much as he did in England, or again as he did in England. So again, it depends how they're going to use him. They might not need to use him if the team starts, gets on a roll and starts winning matches. So we'll just see. But otherwise, Jadeja, Ashwin, Akshar Patel, an interesting option because you have two left-arm spinners. He's more economical. He spins the ball a bit more, and I think he bats a lot better than somebody like Karan Sharma, which is why he's there in the mix. Batting picked itself, I personally would have picked Manoj Tiwari because I'm not convinced if Ambati Rayudu is the backup batsman. So, a backup batsman should be able to bat almost anywhere down the order. India have a backup opener, you have Rahane, Rohit and Dhawan who can open the innings. So you need a backup batsman who can bat anywhere in the middle order. I'm not sure if Ambati Rayudu can bat and lose out matches. So that'll be interesting to see if it comes to that. So somebody like a Manoj Tiwari, he can bat anywhere in the middle order, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I thought he could have been an interesting choice. He's scoring a lot of runs in domestic cricket. He's in good form. But the thing is, Ambati Rayudu has been persistent with. He's played for the last 1 year. He went to New Zealand, South Africa, New Zealand, England. He's played those series at home. He was promoted to number 3. Virat Kohli batted at number 4. So India have not prepared well. It's not been a surprising World Cup squad. They had a particular 12, 13 players. Perhaps the only discussion was with number 14 and 15. They knew they were not going to pick Sehwag, Gambhir, Yuvraj Singh, Harbhajan Singh, Zain Khan. They were all out. There was no discussion there. There were no surprises there. So that's the one thing I like about this World Cup squad. It's a balanced one. It's not a surprising one. Only a couple of places were up for discussion, and it's really shown through to the World Cup squad as well.
And we'll no doubt discuss the World Cup in a lot more detail close to it getting underway, Chet. It sounds like it's getting busy where you are, so we'll just finish off by asking you if you agree with me that it would be something of an upset if it isn't an Australia versus India Tri-Series final in early February.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the disturbance. I'm
It's
staying
okay.
at youth hostel and Saturday night, you know. So yeah, I think we're bang on. Don't mind me saying this, but England are not a very good ODI side at the moment. I mean, yes, Ian Gill got the runs, they scored 300, 350 in those two practice games. But look at the opposition sheet there again. So it's not a surprise. They should have done well, so they didn't do it. And I think the positive change is that Evan Morgan is the captain now. He's more attacking, more suited to ODI format. Somebody like Alistair Cook, not really cut out for ODI cricket. I think going forward, that might be a suitable change. England have finally got their mix right, if I can say so. That will take time for them to gel, take time for them to get their strategies right. But even then, are they a better side than Australia, India in the Tri-Series, or some other sides in the World Cup? Probably not. So at the moment, yes, I think it's going to be an India, Australia, and finally the Tri-Series. And any the side winning that will be a massive boost for them before the World Cup begins.
Great stuff, Chetan. Well, great to hear from you as ever. We shall leave you to your Saturday night revelry out in Melbourne, and thank you very much for joining us once again.
Always a pleasure, John.
And thank you very much for watching us here on Hotspot on Cricket World TV.